What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here, and what I got for your face balls today. We're going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite knife designers, the man that designed this knife right here, and his name is Mazwan Mokhtar. I've got multiples of his designs, all of which are from TwoSun. That was my fault there. But I've really enjoyed a lot of Mazwan's designs. He does fantastic work, does a lot of front flippers, and has his own unique style, no doubt. I'm fairly confident that Mazwan is from Malaysia, and that solely is based on the flag that's on his Instagram. But he does come and comment on several of my YouTube videos, and he's been in some of the live chats, and so I've chatted with him very briefly. Seems like a really nice guy, but there's no doubt that he does some amazing work when it comes to designing knives. Out of all of the TwoSun knives, I would say that consistently Mazwan's designs command more money than the rest of them. And, you know, there are certainly outliers. A lot of Sean Hassan's from Tepe Designs. A lot of his designs are also fairly high priced in the world of TwoSun knives. But Mazwan seems to hit it, you know, kind of out of the park every single time, or at least recently he's been hitting it out of the park. So this one here that we're looking at, this is the TwoSun TS139 Barracuda. This one happens to have shred carbon fiber. You can see that it's raw titanium. This one is also sporting S90V. I actually have this exact same knife in a standard weave carbon fiber with the S90V. This one here I have anodized. I did this bronze anodizing on it. It's got my logo inside. I also did the thumb disc in bronze as well. This one is actually going up on a giveaway video that is current right now. So if you have not entered my giveaway, I'll put a link in the description for that video and go over there and get entered. We'll be drawing the winners. I'm actually giving away 5 knives on that 2K giveaway video, and they are all titanium knives, and they are all customized by yours truly. So this is one of them, and it just happens to be that this is the Mazwan design. So like I said, this was the 139 Barracuda. And then from there, I've had a few of the earlier Mazwan designs, like the 136 Stingray and the 137 Stargazer. I've had several of those actually, and they've passed through my hands. Awesome knives. Both of those are front flippers and really great knives. I do not have either one of those to show you right at this moment, but we're going to go through the list of what I do have, and I actually have one brand new one here that we're going to open up on camera. So I'm just going to go in order of their numbers, and the next one up here, this Mazwan design, this is the TS186 Kingfisher. This knife is phenomenal. It truly is. Everything about this knife is fantastic. They've offered it in multiple different configurations. This one here was one of the early ones in 14C28N. It's got shred carbon fiber inlays on both sides, so you know it's making LTK happy. No War of the Worlds going on here. You do have this nice big opening hole, but the front flipper works perfectly. Super thin behind the edge. Awesome aggressive grind on the blade. It's just a cool looking knife all the way around. Really love the inlay work, as well as Mazwan does a lot of these pivot collars. You'll see them pretty much on all the models. And yeah, just looks really cool. Looks pretty classy. You know, it's the exact same pivot screw that's in the 139 here, but you can see it just classes the joint up quite a bit when you put that pivot collar on there. So awesome knife. So we got the 139, the 186. Next one up is the 191. This is, man, again, just an amazing knife. Really thin, a lot thinner than you would expect for the size of this knife. And all these are full-size knives. These are, anywhere between 3.5, 3 3/4 inch blades. So, definitely man-sized knives. Titanium frame lock. All of these knives are full titanium construction, ceramic bearings. The build quality is fantastic, and we'll disassemble one of them, so I'll show you. One of the things that Mazwan's been doing quite a bit here lately is not putting any billboarding on the blades. It's all milled in or etched into one of the handle scales. So you can see this one here is also S90V. Just a really awesome looking, kind of a Persian upswept blade. But you got some really gorgeous grind lines going on there. You got this huge swedge across the top. It just makes it look really cool. Action on it is perfect. And one of the really impressive things about this knife, you can see there's hardly any gap at all between the blade and the scales. Just, man, the quality and construction on this knife is perfect. So again, really awesome inlay work, and yeah, just an awesome knife. Mazwan also does this quite often. You can see it on the 139 as well, so it's like an integrated backspacer. But then he has other models like this where it has a separate piece for the backspacer. But awesome knives. So 191, definitely highly recommended. Let me set these up here. All right. So now we're actually is the new one right here. Let me get this. So there we go. And I know which one's in here, but let's take a look at it. This is the TwoSun TS195 Grenade. So I'm pretty excited about this one. And this one, if I remember correctly, is an integral. So Mazwan has done, I think he's had a couple of integrals, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that. Some of them like this here, they look like an integral, but they're really not. This one truly is an integral knife. Yeah, nice. So full titanium. This thing obviously is begging for some anno work. Again, front flipper, plus a flipper tab. Plus you've got this fuller in the blade, which I'm sure will work, of course, to flick the blade out. And you can see this really awesome Wharncliffe blade. This one is in Bowler M390. You can see right there on the flipper tab. So premium materials. Yeah, this is the first time I've had this in my hand. So you got this forward choil, which works perfectly. It's going to work really good in like a pinch grip. Yeah, that's a beautiful knife. And then, it looks like a frag grenade from World War II, which is, I'm assuming, why they called it the grenade. But you can see here that the titanium is fully contoured. This mill pattern on there is really I don't know the right word I'm looking for here. There's no sharp edges anywhere on this handle at all. Everything is extremely well chamfered. Blade centering is perfect, it appears. And action is exactly what you would expect. So you can see here, milled titanium clip. Mazwan's been doing a great job with clips. In the beginning, there were a few that didn't have enough space underneath the clip, but, he's gotten better with time, like we all do. And he's just doing a phenomenal job with a lot of these designs. So really excited to check out the 195 here, and excited to add that to my list of Mazwan designs. So, next one up is the Mazwan TS196 Sabertooth. So the Sabertooth, which actually I didn't say the name. This is called the 191 Gulper, is the name of that one there. But the 196 Sabertooth, again, you see the pivot collars, still the same pivot screw, but just the addition of the pivot collars, it makes a large visual impact on the knife. But you can see here with the 195 and the 196, you know, a little different in design and construction here. A little bit smaller of a knife. Real quick, I'll just, didn't have that ready to go. The 196 here in my hand is also M390. This one you're looking at just over 3¼ inch blade. I'm going to guess the 195 is in that same range. Yeah, right at 3¼ inch blade. So a little bit smaller on these two. Just for reference here, I'll show you on the 191. Yeah, 3.714 on the 191. So a little bit smaller on these two guys, but still beautiful, beautiful knives. And like I said, Mazwan just killing it with the designs here. They're really fantastic. And even the early ones, the TS184 was the first Mazwan that I remember, and I could be wrong on that. I don't remember the name of that one. That was a titanium frame lock flipper. Pretty cool looking knife. But then the 136 and 137, the Stingray and the Stargaze, are both really awesome knives. And you can still find them. They're out there. But this is more representative of what Mazwan's been doing lately. And then I've got one more new one here. And this is the TwoSun TS243 CF, and this one's called the Humpback. So this thing is phenomenal. It's a little taller, a little thicker, really interesting blade shape. I really like this knife all the way around. On this one, you've got a flipper tab that's really kind of hidden, but works extremely well, and as well as the front flipper. The design on this is fantastic. It looks great. This one happens to be in 14C28N. You can see there on the flipper tab. Again, no billboarding on the blade. So the blades are totally sterile, which is really cool, except for the blade steel designation. And this one here, you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but there is, if I can get the light right, there's like a fuller that runs down the entirety of the handle. That's on both sides. And it just makes this knife extremely comfortable in hand. It is pretty tall in this dimension, but man, is it good. The forward choil works perfectly. It's just an awesome knife all the way around. This thing is full titanium liner lock. You can see the two screws there. It's got a hardened steel insert. You know, of course, it's ceramic bearings, ceramic detent ball, and then you can see the back spacer here, and the back spacer is 3/4 anyway of the length of the knife, but you can see it does sit proud of the spine of the knife, but it's kind of like a trapezoid shape there. You can see how it's milled on both sides. It actually makes for a really comfortable area, and if you can see, the top of the back spacer is in line with the flipper tab. It just barely sticks up above the scales. Just great attention to detail, awesome designs. Yeah, Mazwan is just killing it. And then, you know, doing simple stuff like this right here. So the lanyard attachment point, you know, they didn't put a hole in the side of the knife. They just cut that area out in the back spacer and then used that standoff, or not really standoff, but that tube there to create the lanyard attachment point. I think it's perfect. Personally, the only thing I would have changed about this is removed this screw and just put an alignment pin in there to keep the back spacer, because this bolt here doesn't attach to the back spacer anywhere, so you only have this point. But you know, putting an alignment pin inside there internally, so you just had the, you know, this screw, this one, and the pivot, I think would have been really cool. But again, I mean, it's beautiful the way it is. I'm just really nitpicking there. Yeah, it's an awesome, awesome knife, and I really dig it. So just to recap here, let me see if I can tighten these up and get them all on camera here. All right, so we've got the TS139 Barracuda, the TS186 Kingfisher, the TS191 Gulper, the TS195 Grenade, the TS196 Sabertooth, and the TS243 CF Humpback. So those are the newer Mazwan Mokhtar designs. Amazing knives. The quality of these things, I'd put them up against any knife I've ever handled ever for a production knife. You know, and I've handled stuff from Riot and stuff from, you know, all the really big names. I've never handled a Rockstead, so I can't compare it to that. But I mean, the quality, fit and finish, blade centering, you know, everything about it is just right on the money. The heat treats are good, and you know, you can buy this knife for just over $100. This one right here, you know, like my buddy BJ Hill over at Hilltop Knives and Gear, he just picked one of these up, and I think he told me he paid $115 for it. So, you know, CPM S90V, and it is S90V, grade 5 titanium, carbon fiber inlays, ceramic bearings, ceramic detent ball, you know, for less than the cost of a Benchmade bug out. You know, it's unbelievable. And the designs are awesome. Like, you're just not making any sacrifices here. The build quality is excellent. The design's excellent. Everything about it works perfectly. Pocket clips, awesome. You know, back in the day, TwoSun was struggling a bit with pocket clips. They have come around, and even the milled tie pocket clips are fantastic. They just work wonderfully. So, real quick, I said I'd take one of these apart. We'll just go ahead and take apart this 191, just because it's a really cool one, and I have it in my hand. One of the great things about TwoSun's is all the hardware's T8, which is fantastic. But like I said here, this is the standard pivot screw that they use on pretty much every single knife, regardless of who the designer is. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, that's the pivot screw that's being used. And the quality of the hardware is fantastic. I've never had one that had so much Loctite on it that I couldn't, well, I mean, you just take precautions if there is Loctite, but TwoSun's generally do not have a lot of Loctite on them, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and just push this pivot out like so, just so I can get the blade out of here. Huh. There's a blade stop pin. All right. So this one's got some alignment pins in this integrated backspacer, just making it a little more difficult to work these apart. Sometimes the clips get stuck on the, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So you can see here you've got the milled out area, and then that raised area there where it makes up the backspacer. You can see the bearing race on the washers, and they're thick stainless steel, and they're actually hardened stainless steel, and then they're surface ground. The quality here is off the charts in comparison to most other manufacturers. But you can see here the TwoSun logo, and then there's Mazwan's designer logo right there. And you can see where the stop pin goes. Here is one of the ceramic nylon cage ceramic bearing, and here's the blade. So you can see S90V, you can see your detent hole, and then this one actually does not have a detent ramp, but the action on this thing is so good without it that, you know, a lot of TwoSuns do have the detent ramp. This one doesn't. Not a big deal. It's perfect the way it is. So, and then here's your pivot screw with the pivot collar. So let's just go ahead and throw all this back together. I also really enjoy the way that TwoSuns are put together. A lot of companies, when you go to reassemble the knives, they're made in such a way that you have to start with the lock side down. I'm not a big fan of that for a few different reasons. One, you're fighting the tension on the lock bar, which just seems silly to me. I like to build them from the show, with the show side down. The other thing is most knives are right hand carry, so the clip is on the lock side. And so you just have to deal with, the knife not wanting to sit straight because of the clip, as well as the lock bar tension. When you build it this way, then you can put all this together, and then when you're ready, you can push down the lock bar side and deal with the lock bar tension at that point and just squeeze it together like so. I'll lift this up off the table so I'm not shaking it. I've changed my little workstation here, and I don't want to shake the camera too much. But we'll throw this together, and if everything works out correctly, it should be perfectly centered. And I didn't have my lube sitting right here, but I'm not too worried about it. Okay. Let's get this screw in. Perfect. Action is perfect. Blade centering is absolutely perfect. And that's it. They just fit back together, go back together exactly the way they came apart. And perfect construction. Like I said, just awesome, awesome knives. So, again, Mazwan, the guy's just killing it. Does amazing, amazing work. The designs are awesome. The construction's awesome. I just can't say enough good things about them. Definitely some of my favorite knives. Check out, there's some other designers that do awesome work for TwoSun as well. One of my other favorites is Sean Hassan with Tepe Design. He does amazing work. I actually have a couple of his knives that I'll be doing videos on really, really soon. And then also Wong Designs is one of my other favorites from TwoSun. Just doing amazing work. But as you can see here, Mazwan is killing it. And if you want a chance to win a Mazwan design, you can win this very one right here, going and entering my 2,000 subscriber giveaway. It also marks like the 1 year anniversary of my channel. So go over there, check out that video, make sure you get entered. Like I said, we'll be picking the winners, like 5 knives. I put up 3 knives, and then I had 2 that were donated, which thank you so much. Some very generous viewers donated 2 more, but all 5 of them will be rocking some custom anodizing. They're all titanium frame locks, and they're all awesome knives. So make sure you go over there and get entered in the giveaway. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. I'm out.